Good evening. Give me just a moment. Close that. Forgot something. I forgot something. I'll be right back. Oh, ew, it's so sticky sauce. Sticky boy. Hey there. How you doing? Okay. So, I just wanted to... I don't know what the name of this video is, but it's about being specific. Or not being specific, rather. Right? Um... I swear, sometimes I do it on purpose, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm just, what's the word? Sometimes I'm just dicking around, okay? Um, and here is what I have noticed, okay? Um, when not being specific aggravates people, all right? It's essentially the same thing that you guys do to me, but I'm not doing it on purpose, right? I'm just... Did you know that I know like several alleys in real life? Like in 3D? Like, I said the name alley and I watched 3 alleys change up. Interesting. Imagine fucking that, right? Imagine that. I was only talking about one of you. But I said the name alley and 3 alleys switched up their energy. Just like that, right? So, I made a comment about someone mocking or mimicking the way I was speaking. And I was talking about a white woman when I made that comment. And I have now peeped that a black woman was aggravated by that comment. But I wasn't talking about you. And so, like, it's funny because that same woman will say things like, you make yourself look guilty when you respond, and you responded. And now that's like the second time I've caught you on that energy of me saying something and you've like responded. Okay. So it's kind of funny because y'all find yourselves doing the same. You call yourself doing the same thing to me. And I'm literally not doing it on purpose. I'm just trying to be... I try to be careful about calling specific people out because I'm doing what you're doing to me. If the shoe fits, if it resonates, right? So, but I wasn't, you weren't in mind when I said it. Alley number 1, alley number 2 was not in mind when I was speaking about alley number 3. You know what I'm saying? You, black woman, were not in mind when I was speaking of white woman. Like, I it's just funny to watch you guys get aggravated with me when I do what you do. And not even aggravated. Well, some of you were aggravated. Whatever you didn't actually bother me as much as what the other person did. Because the other person was going like really hard. And then and then the question of, I love this question. If you think somebody's attacking you, why do you keep watching them? It's very simple. You keep your enemies close. And also, a lot of the times I don't really catch on to it really quickly. I am like a little bit slow, just like a little bit. Okay. Um, like the white lady, I was watching her for 2 years straight and never even peeped it until like the last 2 months. Genuinely, because I'm the collective. She didn't think I was the collective, so I didn't relate to what she was saying about the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't relate. She was talking about it, and I was like, dang, whoever fuck that is, that's real fucked up. And then she'd be like, collective, you deserve so much more. And I'm like, yeah, I do. But then as the storylines kept repeating and repeating, and then she was starting to be more flamboyant about repeating and mimicking me. And like, I get off camera and then she's got a video talking about something I just fucking talked about. An example would be like, I was talking about Social Security and how I had an overpayment. And then she gets on and she's like, this person didn't report their income. And I'm like, okay. It was way more than that. Okay. I didn't gather this information off of one sentence. Okay. It was the whole, it was the whole, everything. But, I'm like, first of all, lady, I did report my income. They shut down because of COVID and the pandemic, and they were a year behind, is why I have an overpayment for Social Security for all you nosy folks. Okay. Like, if I don't give you every exact detail, some of you just come up with your own idea of what the fuck just happened. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it wasn't until the last 2 months that I realized that she was actually like anti, and that she knew who I was, because I didn't think that she knew who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was genuinely just watching because I enjoyed the content, uh, and I believe that I'm collective. So when I started interacting and and even then, there was stuff happening, and I didn't not making the connection. Okay, I wasn't making the connection. Like, oh, okay, when I make a comment, your channel shuts down, and then you say that your stalker is fucking your shit up, and she fucked your husband at one point, and she's just a hateful person. Like, what? I didn't make that connection that she was actually talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't make that connection for a long time, and it kept happening. Like, every time I make a comment, suddenly something's wrong with her channel. Every time I make a comment, something's suddenly wrong with her website or whatever. Like, I never even peeped it. I never peeped it until the last time. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a hot next second. But then when I started thinking back and looking back, and the thing is, uh, there's a level of deniability because her channel kept getting hacked and she had to keep deleting her videos. There's a level of deniability there that she was actually talking about me. But the thing is, when I made my last video, my video addressing her, which is private, but I'm about to unprivate it. I don't know. I made it private because I felt bad. I felt bad for her. um, because I her husband has been claiming he slept with me or something, and she genuinely believed it, and that would make her a victim of manipulation, and it made me feel bad how I clocked her tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, her situation is not funny, okay? But my feelings about my attackers is, because it's like, how dare you have sympathy for these people? Again, again, empathy and sympathy for people that really genuinely do not deserve it. Didn't do no fact checking. She even did this thing where she was like, see, and the thing is, the reason that I knew that she was talking about me is because she was also repeating the rumors about me word for word, you know, specifically about me. This fucking bitch acts like a whore and has a OnlyFans and, you know, is hiding it and living like they're poor. Cause I bought some fucking, you know, I bought some fucking facial shit and I've only bought it twice. So I'm barely breaking my bank for it. You know what I'm saying? She goes, "Are you an influencer now?" I've made 3 videos about my care routine and my hair care. That is out of 800 and oh, how many videos do I have now? I'm curious to know. That was out of 892 videos. I believe this is the 893rd. All right. I've made a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos talking about my hair care products or my skincare products. And I would hardly call that an influencer. You know what I'm saying? One, how can I put this? You could still give a message for God and talk about hair. Like, you are not exclusively set to, you know, the message. In fact, like, you know, there are some prophets in the Bible that were known for how fashionable they were. You know what I'm saying? So if I wanted to tell some people, because this, your appearance, your crown, those are things that display your health. Okay? So 5 videos out of 892 would still be a part of the message, because there's people out there who are experiencing levels of abuse that have completely changed their appearance. When you are going through this, you lose your freaking hair. Okay? You're breaking out because you're stressed. Me suggesting to someone some skincare products and some hair products is still some love. Okay? I didn't tell anybody they got to buy it. I don't even buy it often myself. She really, the things that she was saying, like, she really had hatred for me, and I've never seen her before in my life before she showed up on my algorithm. And after I made these videos, I ain't seen her again. She maybe made like 1 or 2 videos and I haven't seen her, and I haven't gone to her website because now I know she's like an enemy. You know what I'm saying? And people will come through my algorithm that I know do not like me, okay? And most of the time I won't watch. What will get me is sometimes they'll do a title where it's like so obvious that you are fucking what do you want, what do you want me, what is it? You know what I'm saying? And I'll watch it, but 99% of the time I do not watch like consistently people that I know do not like me that come up in my algorithm. So I watch you, and then I hear you having a fit about something I said that I recognize that you did, but I didn't take it the way that you think I took it. I was actually talking about somebody completely different. But by you responding like that, it lets me know that your heart was not in the right place when you were doing it. She really did think this shit was funny. And there's another one too. I won't say your name, but I emailed you before, right? And I had made a comment, and I heard 3 of you going off. Right? I heard like 3 of you going off. So, and I wasn't talking about any of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, why are you all up in arms? Why would you be up in arms? I ain't said nothing about you, but then you respond like that, and now I'm like, wait a minute. Now wait a hot dang second. Hot diggity dog. I'm aware that what people were accusing me of passing around, I'm aware of what you were accusing me of passing around. Okay? But the reason that I responded about a particular individual is because the mention of herpetic Whitlow. And the fact that I seen it in 3D. Like, I actually saw, the last time I saw the individual, I did notice some issues with their hands. Okay. So I'm just mentioning how I hear you responding, and I see it. I can see it in the 3D, okay? Because I know 3 alleys, okay? And all of you changed. Now make that make sense, because as far as I know, I did not give you my channel, and I did not give you my channel. So explain to me why your energy switch up when I say alley, if you're not a gang stalker. Oh. Okay. All right. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. So I'm gonna close this video out, because sometimes I do not like putting too many well, that's the thing though. I also notice if I do one back to back, it doesn't get views. So I might just have to do it tomorrow. I'm not like really about views, okay? I have never been here like trying to hit a number of views and likes and stuff like that. It's just that if one video gets 105 views, and then another video, which is a little more important, only gets 24, that's backwards. That's ass backwards. But I did want to say that. I wanted to mention how me not being specific, it's like weird, because I'm not really doing it on purpose. I am, and I'm not. Concealing your identity and leaving ambiguity does cause an uproar, in the same way that you intended to cause an uproar within me. And also when what's the name of that video? I don't know how, but you should know, maybe. What's the name of that video? Yeah, I don't know how, but here's what you should know, right? In that video, I had made a comment about a reader that I had mentioned before. But I had mentioned this person years ago, right? Here, I mentioned that person, and I actually didn't mention on my channel. I was like in a comment section somewhere, and I was listing off names, and she was one of them. This is like 5 years ago, maybe. We're in 2025, so it would have been 2021. So 4 years ago, in 2021, I mentioned this individual, and I never watched her again um, until this year. Why? Because she just randomly started showing up in my algorithm. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll listen. And she responded to something that I said. I said, I asked him if he knew anyone. I didn't ask him that. I said, how is it that, the tarot has been really weird? Like, people are saying my exact words. And he said he wouldn't know anything about that, or he doesn't know anyone like that. And then she said, oh, he said he didn't know anybody like that. He does. And before that, but like I'm saying, it was 4 years ago when I peeped that something was off about her, and I stopped watching, and then she didn't come into my algorithm again until this year. There's another one I never watched. She would be in my algorithm, but I never watched her. Now I watch her because there's something going on there. There's something going on there. So in order to figure out what it is, you do have to watch them, even if you think they're attacking you or they're for you. Whether they're attacking you or for you, you have to watch in order to get the message. So to keep trying to suggest people, like, if you think somebody's attacking you, why are you watching them? Because you gotta you got to gather facts. You got to gather details. You have to gather clues. You got to gather evidence. Right? Um, and so that's what I was doing. But I was talking about her. I still wasn't talking about you if you thought I was talking about you then. um, there was something else. But my mind lost it. Excuse me, because it's past my bedtime. But, excuse me. This is about the weirdest thing ever, you know? Like this whole little whatever the fuck. It's like really weird. I don't even know. I know what I was going to say. Okay. So recently, okay, there have been readings that have been trickling in from like 3 years ago, a year ago, 23, um, 2 years ago, and I haven't watched them all, okay, but I just like watched one or two, and it's just interesting to see how much work some of you put into this thing here, this production, right? It's interesting to see how long you guys have been putting in the work on this production, and like, you're making money off of it and all that shit, and like I never even noticed. It's kind of the same thing like when I was being investigated, okay? Well, there was a multitude of things happening at once. Okay, I was being investigated and I was being gang stalked at the same time, right? And so I can remember like posting on Facebook like, oh my god, I can remember posting on Facebook like, oh my god, you all have a doppelganger in the same state. like in other states, like every state I go to, you have a doppelganger. I'm sorry, excuse me. Just the level of oblivious that I am sometimes. Okay, I could be watching somebody, like I said, I was watching that lady for like 2 years, really loved it. I did not resonate with the side that she was trying to present as me, okay? I resonated with the collective. So because I didn't resonate with the actions and the behaviors that she was trying to speak on, what I was doing, as well as, you know, because she was like defending my mother, defending, certain people. Oh, we're gonna get back to you in just a minute, but um like the reason it took me so long is because I don't resonate on the other side. I'm not playing games. I'm not doing certain things. And like y'all assumed I was doing certain things. So when you speak on it, I don't catch that immediately. I'm on the collective side. I'm not the cross watcher. You know what I mean? Like so that's why it took me so long for some of you to realize what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit. It's the same for when I was, like I said, I was being investigated, I was being gang stalked, and I literally was on Facebook like, some of you guys have a doppelganger in every state. No, you're seeing the same person, baby. They're following you. you know? So back to, um, you know, so this lady here that was thinking that I slept with her husband at some point or something like that, right? um I've been thinking about something you said, because you were talking about how um you had let like you hadn't had a break from your children in like so many years. They violated something, and so you never left your kids with someone else ever again. It was just you and your husband. And like, because I need a break, um I must be lying, and was willing to allow my sister to continue to visit with my son, that I must be lying about my experience. And here's what I have to say about that. There was a, my therapist and I have had several talks about the way that I want to maintain, like, I have a strong desire to want to maintain relationships with my abusers. Like, it's a very strong thing. I know, like, logically, I know that it's not safe, right? But trying to separate was very difficult for me. Um, and so then you like defend my mother and try to make it seem like I'm not really a victim of what I said I'm a victim of. Um, she told me about a story of someone she knows who still maintains a respectful relationship with someone that harmed her really badly. No one knows about it. And they still maintain a respectful relationship with that person now that that person is older and I guess more controlled. You know what I'm saying? Like, able to not abuse anymore. And the reason that I have struggled with them is because I can't keep it quiet. Like, I could have went the other route and just never said anything and maintained the relationship. And even after the fact of saying it, if you really thought I was mentally ill, um, or had something to handle, abandoning me or punishing me or keeping me from like certain things would never be the answer if you really thought I was mentally ill. And that's like in terms of what I think of my family. Okay. They wouldn't alienate me or leave me by myself if they thought that I truly needed mental health help. And so I'm trying to show, and here's what's very important, okay? Because from what I'm seeing, it doesn't sound like you've done a lot of therapy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like you've done a lot of therapy, because my therapist has actually validated that that is true. um, and not from like my siblings' standpoint or anything, from the parents' standpoint, where the parent is, even though I'm an adult, as a parent, what she's doing is textbook for someone who has done it. So, because I tried to find some kind of middle ground to kind of like stay in touch, somehow that invalidates my experience when she's all I had. She's my mama. Okay, so you left your mom. It would probably have been, again, you think of what you would do and what you have done, and you have a completely different experience. You got married at like 18, 19 years old, as what I recall, 31, 31. You got married at like 18, 19 years old. It was very easy for you to separate from them, and you have someone that's supporting that with you. Okay? So since they're supporting that with you, that need to have community is within your now own creation of a family unit. You don't need your mom. So you don't need to go back. I needed my mom. I still need my mom. Excuse me. In fact, what caused me to, what you're not recognizing, and maybe you didn't recognize, the emotional blackmail of the fact that they have contact with my daughter and I don't. So I felt the need to speak to my mom because my mom had my daughter often. And when she had my daughter, I could speak to her sometimes. Or like, they were they had my daughter hostage, so to speak. And so communicating with my mother was because they had access to my daughter. But, you just see like whatever the fuck it is you want to see to invalidate my experience. Okay? And I'm not invalidating your experience. But also that you would think that I'm much older than you. Not much older than you, but old enough to where we wouldn't even been at school at the same time. 3 3 3 3. We wouldn't even been at school at the same time for me to take your story. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that shit happened to you in middle school, I was in high school. So I wouldn't know anything that was going on in your middle school. You know? Just so you know. So we got the timeline right. And I also graduated a year early. So, like, you're the same age as my siblings. My siblings didn't even go to high school when I went to high school. So I couldn't have taken your fucking story or known anything about it. But, I had to yet again, okay? I had to yet again decide that I cannot speak to them regardless of them having access to my daughter. Like, I had to make do you know how hard that decision was? Because the minute I stopped talking to them, like, oh, we were out, we forgot. Like, okay, so sometimes she would go visit when it was our days for calls, and suddenly they've forgotten. Now they're not sending pictures. they've been emotionally blackmailing me with my daughter. And so the option of having my son and my daughter together was a thing because of this emotional blackmail, because they had access to my daughter. But the minute that they tried to offer for my son to be alone in her home with her 35, when they offered this, that was like, I can't do it. And I could not speak on it. If they would have never brought that up, like, I brought up needing a break because I'm one person. Okay. And also, really quick, just because you and your husband do not leave your children does not mean that you are better parents. Because, and again, these are some touchy things. These are touchy. The reason it's touchy is because I'm not saying you're a bad parent because you don't leave your your children. It's just that when it comes to covert emotional incest, the parents not leaving their children due to fear is a thing. And then you're overprotective. You should be able to have someone that can watch your children so that you and your husband can leave the house together and have separate time. See, now I'm getting too into it because I don't want to analyze you, but I have now. I wasn't going to, but now, like, I have, because you actually show, like, the symptoms of emotional incest. You show it very much. And you've never spoken on going to therapy or anything like that. So you wouldn't see the things that you're judging me on that are actually still, like, very much unhealed energy. You should be able to trust at least one other person with your children. If it's a babysitter that you pay off of care.com or whatever. So me requesting a break because I'm one person, isn't bad. And at one point, and the funny thing is, in 2020, I left Aaron with my cousin way more than I'd ever done the whole time that I had children. You know what I'm saying? I had never done that before, but there was just so much fucking shit going on. That is what was needed at the time. But that wasn't like the trend for the whole, you know, 18 years of parenthood. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, back to the issue at hand here. Okay? So, like, because I could not keep my mouth shut, I had to sever ties. My therapist said that it's not a bad thing if you want to maintain relationships with your abusers. It's normal. And I struggled with that, you know? I struggled with that. I was on the line with that. I cringe every time I fucking talk to her. You know what I'm saying? And she also has, like, the psychopathic death stare, you know? And she would do that shit to me from time to time. Like, she would be on camera and I would have to be like this sometimes. Because looking at her, like, she would do the fucking death stare. And sometimes it would trigger me and sometimes it wouldn't. But once I realized what that was, I stopped. Like, I just would just be like this. So I wouldn't have to see her. 39. I'm getting, like, a lot of numbers today. I don't usually look up, I guess. I sometimes struggle to look at the camera or to look at you. Because when I'm looking like this, I'm looking directly at my face. I do not like that. I do not like that. So, anyways, It's interesting how my experiences are invalidated because of how I choose to do things with my abusers. That's projection. You think that every single person that's ever been abused will just cut contact with who they're being abused by. Now, do I suggest that you get away from that person? Yes. I would always suggest that you try to get away from your abusers, but the thing is, it's not black and white. There is a gray area. And for myself, I fit into that gray area, and I was only in that gray area because they put me in that gray area because they had access to one of my children. But I had to make the hard decision to cut them off, and I look better. The fuck? I had to make the decision to cut them off, despite them having access to my daughter, for my own health. You know what I'm saying? And Aaron wasn't about to go over there. You know what I'm saying? Then there was a comment about, oh, I need a car or I need a ride. And you like doted on yourself because you walked 5 miles to post your videos at the closest fucking place. Bitch, excuse me. But really, no, bitch. Like, so because do you know what I needed the car for? Because it's a 3-day walk to get to my daughter. That's not viable. I don't really care about getting a therapy. I get there. I walk and I take the bus. Okay? Before I knew there was a bus, I walked. Okay? You really have this... it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you would try to compare yourself to me when we have completely different scenarios in life. Like, it's just weird. Like, why did you do that? And this is how I know, though, that you are solely functioning on rumors, because you made that comment about me being a fraud, forgetting that I leave shit on the stove, and that I never got a high school education when I graduated a year early from high school with a 3.3 GPA. I graduated with honors. Okay. 3.3 isn't that high. Okay. And really what got me was was chemistry, geometry, and algebra 2. Those 3 classes totally ruined my fucking GPA. And they weren't even all in the same year. I'm talking about my full all 4 years. I did graduate with honors though, and I graduated a year early. And so like when I saw you do that jab, I have heard people do that jab that I never graduated from high school. And I could have never done this work because I never graduated from high school. I never got any education. And so and yeah, I don't forget food on the stove. What I do though, I like to use instead of using my candle warmers, sometimes I'll put the candles on the stove, like in a little votive, and put it on the stove in a boiling pot of water. But I've made the mistake like 3 times of getting in the shower and having an extra long shower, okay? Because showers are like meditation for me. I meditate. I get a lot of messages when I'm in the shower and stuff like that, like when I'm in water. So I'll take like an extra long shower, get out, and like no sooner than I get out, my house is full of fucking smoke because I forgot that fucking candle on the fucking stove. And it's actually a wonderful mistake, okay? Because most of the time there's no damage. I've never had it like really, start a fire or anything like that because it can never get that far. 4-4-4-4. It can never get that far because you can smell it. You know what I'm saying? Like you could smell the smell and be like, oh, that smells really intense. I should check on that because I've had plenty of times where I caught it before it got that bad, right? But the few times when I didn't, My house smelled phenomenal for days. So it's like a beautiful mistake. It's not really that bad, but that's the day that I realized that you were talking about me, because you made it seem as if the hacker had said that. And those were like literally the exact things, except for the candle thing, or the leaving stuff on the stove. But the other shit that you said, that was the exact shit that these motherfuckers have been trying to say to steal my word. That I never went to school and that I never got a high school degree. When I graduated early from high school, these motherfuckers been lying on me, right? And so then they you know, and then the little leaving stuff on the stove shit had just happened. I had called my neighbor because it was just a particular day where I was like really pent up, and I didn't call her, I texted her, but I was like really pent up, and I just started crying when it happened. And it was because the alarms went off and it was overstimulating. I was already in the shower kind of feeling weird, and then I got out and the fire alarms went off, and I was like, oh, it just happened. And then I had left a comment on your shit, and then now all of a sudden this hacker comes on to say, I'm the fraud. I'm the fraud. I don't have a high school degree. I never studied anything. The thing is, I was studying fucking psychology when I was a child. I was like a literal child. I wasn't even a teenager. I was 11 years old when I picked up my first fucking book. It was Sigmund Freud and the Interpretation of Dreams. Then I went into the 8th grade, and no. I went to the 7th grade. I did the fucking what they call that? No. Was it the 7th grade? No, it wasn't the 7th grade. In the 7th grade, I was homeschooled. I was pulled out of school. And when I was pulled out of school, I had to school myself for that whole year. But then I went into the 8th grade. I did my little, what do you call that? Career test. It said I should be a social worker, psychology, all that shit. And so I started studying even more psychology. And my first report that we had to do for school that year, I did it about eating disorders. Okay. So like, I've been studying since I was a kid, because this was the field I was supposed to go into. And then I had other ideas, and suddenly the people around me are all doing the shit I had ideas about. It's weird and interesting, you know? And then they tell you I never got a high school diploma, you know? So this went in like really long on you, ma'am. It wasn't supposed to. I forgot what this was about. Damn, what was the name of this video? Hey, let's before I go, let's look up the angel numbers I saw. A few of them that I can remember. I can remember 3131. And you know what? Just now, when I picked up my phone, I remembered that I said I was going to give all the women in my Instagram a shout out, and I forgot. Sorry. A message of positive change, good luck, and abundance, yada, yada. I'm so over this shit. I should stop looking these up, you know? Because I get a lot of them all the time, and I think sometimes it could be a little bit disparaging, and it is a sign of, you know, spiritual psychosis sometimes. I don't really think so all the time, but, you know, I see their point. Because it can kind of like drive you crazy if it says the same fucking thing over and over. Like 3434 is a sign of spiritual growth and stability, especially in relationships. Balance your spiritual journey with building a stable support system, and it may indicate a twin flame relationship is evolving and encouraging both partners to build a strong spiritual foundation together. All right. This video is over. Have a good day. Oh wait, it's nighttime. Oh, it's morning time. It's morning. It's 12:36 on a Friday night, Saturday morning. Okay. Good night.